What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. I am Anthony, your host here at Motorsport Throttle, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the 335 platform. You know, if you're considering buying the car, I'll give you some things to think about when considering purchasing a BMW 335, 135 with the N54. So if you are a new subscriber or a new viewer, definitely check out some of my other videos. I'm going to be posting a lot of videos on my 335 journey and my A36 M3. I'm a big time BMW enthusiast. If you are a new viewer, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more updates on some of the things that I'm working on with my 335. So stay tuned. Well, the 335 is an awesome car. The 135 is an awesome car. Now, the N54 engine that comes on these cars is a very stout motor and has been seen to handle lots and lots of power. Now, a lot of the issues come about with these motors in particular because there's a lot of accessory components that tend to fail. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about some of those things. You know, things that you may want to look for when considering purchasing an N54 vehicle. So the first thing that you should consider when purchasing a 335 or a 135 is reliability concerns. Now, the 335 or 135, you know, typically is a pretty reliable car, but there are many things that may cause it to not be so reliable. And one thing to consider is that, you know, one with over 100,000 miles, like a lot of them are, there's going to be a lot of common issues that are probably going to start to happen and that you're going to want to take care of, which require a lot of money. Now, the first thing is typically at this age, you know, you'll know that the turbos are probably starting to go out. If you install downpipes, you'll start hearing the wastegate rattle, which typically is a good sign that the turbos are on their way out. Now, if you're a big DIYer, well, buying the turbos may not be so bad, but if you're not and you're looking for install, you know, that typically ranges depending on who you go through, but it could end up being a lot of money, so that's one thing to consider. And the turbos, the stock turbos, I've seen them fail pretty quickly, but then some go a little bit longer, so those are all things to consider. Who really knows what condition they are when you purchase the vehicle? Sometimes they're a little hidden. And I know on my car, when I purchased the vehicle, it had about 130,000 miles on it, and the turbos were on their way out. However, I couldn't see, nor did I do any research. The next thing I want to talk about, looking at my notes here, a couple things that happen is the water pump tends to go out with the thermostat, and that can leave you stranded. So if you haven't replaced the water pump, that's something you're definitely going to want to take a look into. Or if you know the car you're looking at buying hasn't, the owner hasn't replaced that water pump, that's something you're going to want to ask, because those do tend to go out, and it could leave you stranded like it did me. Third thing I want to talk to you guys about, the N54 engine is notorious for getting the 30FF code. There's a few common issues that arise, or that are the main culprits for this. First thing is your vacuum lines. A lot of the times on these cars, vacuum lines have never been replaced, and these are the vacuum lines that go from the turbo to the wastegate to the vacuum canisters, which go into the boost solenoids, and then there's various different vacuums that are routed throughout the engine. If the car hasn't had them replaced, you're probably going to want to get them replaced. The other thing to consider with the 30FF code is going to be the boost solenoids. Sometimes they tend to go out, you know, after a lot of mileage on them, so that's something that could potentially be a culprit of that. Which is something you're going to want to look for. It's pretty relatively inexpensive. You can find a lot of used ones, or you can also buy some new ones, which aren't too bad. The other thing that happens on these 335s or N54 vehicles, the charge pipe tends to crack at the throttle body, and you'll notice you know, the car will turn off. You'll get the 30FF code, engine malfunction. You'll get those things on there, and you'll end up having to purchase a new charge pipe, which I would definitely recommend because these plastic charge pipes are no bueno. Moving on, if you're getting the N54, one thing that you know, tends to go bad on these cars is the injectors. The injectors have gone through many revisions on these cars, and the best ones that have shown very little failure are the Index 12 injectors. Those are the ones that I have on my car, but you know, because they're good injectors, they typically cost a pretty penny. So those are things that you're going to want to look for if you're purchasing an N54 vehicle. You know, the ones that have had a lot of maintenance are typically going to be priced a little bit higher. The ones with no records are probably going to be priced pretty lower. So if you're a DIYer and you know what to look for, you know, maybe buying the cheaper priced N54 vehicle is a good option. But if you are not and you want something that's going to be reliable and not leave you stranded, then definitely pay the price that a well-maintained vehicle is going to need. Next thing. So the drive belts on these cars tend to shred, and they've done it numerous times. I know my car it did as well, and probably caused because of a leak. Sometimes the oil will leak onto there and cause it to malfunction, and it will end up shredding and leaving you stranded. So oil leaks are, you know, a big concern on these cars as well. So definitely take a look at that and make sure that it isn't leaking any oil. On my car in particular, what I did is I removed the underbelly pan because I wanted to see if there was any oil leaks on my car, and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't hidden by just kind of seeping into that belly pan, not onto the floor. I've noticed that I've been able to catch a few leaks here and there, but I know a lot of these cars, you know, have that hidden because there's the underbelly pan on the bottom of the car, which can hide the leaks. One of the most common problems on these cars is the high pressure fuel pump goes out, and it will leave you stranded because it'll go out. So the high pressure fuel pump is something that you're going to want to take a look at to see if it has been replaced, or ask the owner of whoever you're buying the car from whether it's been replaced or not. Typically they go anywhere from $300 to $400 online, and then to install, you know, you can install it or pay someone to do it. But those are notorious for going out on these cars. Definitely make sure you check that out. And overall, in my experience, the 335 is reliable when you keep up on the maintenance. If you don't keep up on the maintenance, it's not going to be reliable, it's not going to be fun, it's going to be a big headache, and you're going to hate your life. Trust me, I know. But I love the 335, and I love my 335. The N54 engine is awesome, and I've made a lot of good power out of my car. Even though it's got high miles, it still makes good power, and I really love the look of the car. I really enjoy this car very much, and right now I'm working on some additions to it to hopefully make it a little bit more powerful. Overall, it's a good car, and a couple things to consider, you know, is really the cost. If you want a car that's you know, going to be good to go without any issues, it's probably going to be the car for you. If you're looking for a car where it's going to be a project and you're willing to work on it and be patient and have the resources to fund the project, then this might be the right car for it. Now, talking about the resources and funding for the car, the costs for my repairs and all the things that I've done are probably pretty well into the thousands. Because I pretty much replaced everything that needs to be replaced on this car. And I also have that video, which I'll put up right here in the cards, of how much I've spent on my car, so you can kind of take a look at that when you're considering buying an N54 vehicle. Because I know, You know, for a lot of the guys, these cars are coming in pretty cheap now. I just saw one recently for $5,000 and very little information in the description. You know, that might be something you might want to stay away from. But if you're a DIYer, then definitely could be a fun project. Now, another thing I wanted to talk a little bit about was aftermarket support. And these cars have a ton of aftermarket support. You know, you can find everything for these cars in the aftermarket world. Now, if you're looking to upgrade a lot of the parts, you know, you can buy a lot of those things online through all the various vendors, you know, VRSF, MMP, Doc Race, you know, they all make a lot of different parts for these cars, and there's a lot of different options, you know, on what direction you may want to go. And it's kind of one of the reasons that I've stayed within the N54 platform. I was considering leaving and moving on to something new, but because there's such a big aftermarket support, you know, I found that I really want to stick with this car. I think moving forward, you know, I think there's going to be even more vendors and more support for the market. All right, now quick update on my 335. So I was supposed to dyno it this weekend. I was supposed to get a few things done. However, ran into some issues with some of the parts coming in, wasn't able to get it done in time. And so now I'm gonna wait to dyno. Right now we're working on making sure that we get our dual fuel pump set up, put into the car. Should you buy? You know, that's a question that a lot of people ask themselves. Should you buy the N54 vehicle? You know, that's really up to you. You know, where you are at with your funds and how much fun you want to have. The 335 that I've had has been an extremely fun car, and I really love it. I love the lines, I love the look, and I love that there's a lot of support for it. So I think it really just comes down to cost and comfort with all the maintenance issues that these cars tend to have. You know, make that decision. You know, hopefully this video kind of helped you learn a little bit more about some of the common issues that tend to happen with the N54 vehicles. I know if I would have known this beforehand, probably would have at least guided me in the right direction, as opposed to just kind of fixing things here and there when they come. But hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I hope please give it a thumbs up for this video. You know, I appreciate you guys subscribing. Appreciate all the views and the comments. If you have any questions or anything, you know, drop it in the comments below. And check out some of my other videos. I'm going to be posting up more videos on my 335 build, and then I'm also posting up more videos of my E36 M3 in the coming weeks. I'll be working on a couple things there. But, you know, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and give it a big thumbs up. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.